Welcome to a new Java Basics tutorial video from ToborTech. In this video, we will be talking about how we can get user inputs using the Java programming language. Let's get started. In our Hello World program from a few lessons back in this video series, we talked about how we can output information onto the screen using Java. And getting user inputs is just as important in programming, as this allows us to have our software interact with the people using them. A word of warning though, getting user inputs in Java is not exactly the simplest thing, and it's not very straightforward. We'll be using things like classes, objects, and methods to do so. And these are things that we haven't talked about, so don't worry if these appear as pure magic at this point, since they will be explained later in this course. We will be using the scanner class in Java to get user inputs. For now, you can think about a class as a collection of related code, which isn't exactly the best definition, but is helpful to think about it like this for this lesson. To use the code from the scanner class, we have to import it first, and we do this at the top of the file before even the class definition. So we write import java.util.scanner. Notice how the S is uppercase. This is important, and we just write this entire thing at the top of our file. So import java.util.scanner even before class main is defined. And then we need to create an instance of the scanner class, which we'll use to get the actual inputs. So we write scanner sc is assigned the value of a new scanner, passing in system.in inside of this pair of parentheses and then semicolon. Now, if you've been following this course, you would realize that this is just creating a variable. We're declaring a variable called sc, which has a data type of scanner, assigned an initial value of new scanner and this whole thing. Scanner is a class, which is, you can also think about a class as a special data type that someone has created. And we're creating an object, an instance of this class. And we can use this instance to get user inputs. In this 3-line program, the first line is printing out a prompt. We're asking the user, please enter your name. And then, after the user has entered something onto the terminal, the scanner is going to use sc, which matches the name here, dot next line, parentheses. This is going to give us the line that the user has entered, and we'll store this inside of a string variable called name. And we print out hello name on the 3rd line. Let's take a look at this in action in our online editor. So if I run this program, I can see that on the right side of our window, it's going to print out your name. And then I'll enter my name, so Ian. And then I press enter, and it will print out hello Ian. I can run this again, and I can actually enter multiple words. So I can actually enter, for example, Java Basics, which is the name of this course, and we'll see hello Java Basics as the output. Dot next line, as we used here, is used to read string inputs from the user. We can use next int and next double to get numerical data from the user. So in this program, we're printing out a prompt, enter your favorite whole number, and then we're using sc.nextInt here rather than next line, so nextInt, and we're storing it in an int variable called intNum, which we print out on the 3rd line. And we do the same thing with a decimal number stored inside of a double as received by the scanner.nextDouble method. So I'm going to copy this code into our editor. In fact, we need the scanner line. So scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.int, or int, not int. So like this, and I can enter my favorite whole number when it asks me to. So let's say 10. And my favorite decimal number is 3.14. And we can see the output gives us the exact thing that we would expect from our program. To practice what we just learned, use the scanner class to get two numbers from the user, and then perform some sort of operation on these two numbers. For example, add them. I'm going to get the sum of these two numbers and print out the result. You're free to use whatever operation you would like and display the result onto the screen. And here is an example solution. We can see we're creating a scanner called SC again, same syntax as before, new scanner system.in. And then we're using system.out.print to print out a prompt. So first number, and then we're using sc.nextDouble, parentheses. We're getting that double number and storing it in a double variable called num1. And then we're doing the same thing with the second number before we print out the sum, which is num1 plus num2. And the reason why I have placed parentheses around this operation is to ensure that this is done before this. Since if this is done first, then this will be added as a string, which is added to this string, or this number, so that wouldn't exactly work well. It's going to give us sum, and then the literal number, num1, and then the literal number, num2. So I'm going to copy this program into our editor and run it. So right now, since we're using double to store our numbers, I can enter, let's say 1.1, as well as integer numbers like 5, and we get 6.1. Now, if I change this so that this takes an int, and we use the next int method, then we will no longer be able to enter double numbers. So if I enter, for example, 1.1, it would raise an input mismatch exception telling us that we're not entering the correct data type for the scanner to receive. So let's just keep it as double. And running this, let's just try to add my favorite integer to our favorite decimal. So let's try 10 plus 3.14 gives us 13.14. That is correct. So to summarize today's lesson, congratulations, you now know how to get inputs from users. And after this, we will use this knowledge to create some fun projects where the user is able to enter inputs for the program to receive. And that's it for today's video on Java Basics. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to our channel down below. And with that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.